Now last but not least, let's use the explosion to blow up our grenades. And usually in game design it's the same way, that all the hard work is done and all the way in the end you get the gratification that it finally works. So what we haven't done yet is save our explosion into a prefab. So let's go to Assets and then create a prefab. Let's drag this into our prefabs folder, rename it and call it EXP, just short for explosion, and drag our explosion into it. Alright, that will do. Now we can delete the explosion in our world because we've saved it as a prefab, and now we need to add some script to actually make our grenade work. So in the scripts folder, let's create a new script, and I suppose you know how to do that by now. Let's rename that grenade script, and we'll attach this to our grenade. So let's open up this prefab, then drag the grenade script on top of it until you see the plus sign, and then let go and it adds it right here. Of course it's still empty, we'll add some scripts right now. Here's what we're going to do first. Let's define a variable creation time equals time.time. Now what we'll do is we'll keep track of the time when our grenade is created, that a couple seconds after that we can actually explode the grenade. So that's why I'm using a variable called creation time. Now in Unity, to keep track of time, you use time class and then the subvariable time with a small capital T, and the class of course is with a capital T. So that's how to keep track of time. And now we need to set or reset this variable as soon as the grenade has been created. Now one of the predefined functions in Unity that we can use to do that is the awake function. Now the awake function is triggered as soon as the object is created. So inside the awake function we'll just use creation time once again and set it to its current value. Alright, now in our update function, which again is called every time a frame is rendered, we can check if time is passed since the creation. So if time.time is bigger than our creation time, and of course we need to add the couple of seconds that our grenade has been floating around in 3D. So for example 3 seconds, and let's use brackets around these to make sure that the if statement really checks this addition versus our current time. Okay, so if the grenade has been floating around for 3 seconds, we'll destroy this game object. We can simply type game object and it will refer to the game object we're attached to, and that is of course the grenade prefab. And then let's instantiate our explosion prefab, which we have not defined yet. So let's go up here and type var explosion prefab, and this is the prefab that we just made, and this is of the type transform. So again, the instantiate function needs 3 variables. First, the prefab that we'll create, second, the position, and third, the angles or rotation. So let's first type explosion prefab, then our transform.position, and then our rotation, which is our quaternion dot identity. Alright, this should work just fine. Of course, if you want to change this into a variable lifetime, for example, equals 3, you can do that instead of the just 3 lifetime. So this way you can tweak it inside of the editor if you want grenades to last just a little longer or just a little shorter. Let's save this script. It's already attached to our prefab. However, we have not yet set the explosion prefab, so let's drag the exp on top of the explosion prefab. Let's save this. And now, in order to test our script, of course, we first need to find a box of ammo. Oh, hold on, there's one. So let's grab this and then throw this against the wall. Oh, I threw it a little bit over. As you can see, the grenade go right there. Let me throw it a little bit lower. Here it goes. And boom. And as I said, the gratification is always in the end when our grenade actually blows up. Now of course we should add some sound effects and stuff of the grenade tinkling around when it's still there, and of course the explosion sound, because it's a little funky right now, but we'll get this sound a little later. I can't wait to blow this turret up, honestly. So let's move on.